Hello and welcome to our Performance Marketing Decoded series, where we discuss tools and concepts related to performance marketing, programmatic advertising, AdTech, as well as marketing technology. Today our topic is CDPs, which is Customer Data Platforms. Now, to understand what a CDP is, basically the easiest explanation is combination of CRMs, which is customer relationship managements, like Salesforce you might have heard about, DMPs like Lotomy, Oracle Bluekai, and then CEPs, which is customer engagement platforms like Braze. Now, to give you an idea, most of these tools like CRM, Salesforce were considered to be like a tool for sales team and maybe a bit about marketing. CEPs were considered tools for IT teams, which basically work on these websites and apps, and they used to use it mostly, and maybe marketing to some extent as well. DMP was a tool basically intended for marketers. After 2010, these platforms like CDPs started to come into the picture, but they did not get much traction until recently. And what is the reason for that, and what are the problems they're solving? We will discuss that a bit later. But to give you an idea, in all big companies, even smaller companies, CDP is considered to be like the hub of all performance marketing. Now, basically, how CDPs work is in 3 steps. Let's take an example of a food delivery app like Uber Eats. Whenever somebody installs their app and registers, it collects the email IDs from the app installs. Then when the user does orders, it collects all those order details from the app. Now, when it comes to enriching data, what it basically does is, so it creates profiles for identifiers like phone numbers and email IDs, and then whatever that user does, it stitches that data together. And as a result, when this platform collects all the data about all the users, now it can analyze the top LTV customers. It will say, okay, in the last year, who were the people who spend most money on our website or app, and predict and understand their demographics, their behavior, and thus it can predict that all the registrations, all the installs we got in last 1 month, which of those users are most probably going to spend the most of the money on our website or the app. And then based on different rules, it can segment the data and create different kind of audience buckets. And in the 3rd step, when it comes to activation, let's say Uber Eats will send this information, this segmented data, to their Google ads and say, okay, this is the audience who are probably going to have high LTV. They're going to order a lot in the future. So start a campaign, target it to only them, give them some kind of offers, give them VIP treatment. Whenever they send an email to the customer support, the reply should be sent quickly, or anything can be done with this segment. And they can also see, okay, who are the users who are about to churn, because CDP will collect all the data about all the users and understand whenever the user abandons this app, probably, or uninstall this app, what was their user behavior before. And with all this information about that those users, it will try to predict that among all the people we have now, who are going to basically churn. And then you probably can start a campaign and re-engage them with a particular offer, a weekly offer for a few weeks, so that they come back and re-engage with your business. Before I show you a bigger picture, I would like to show you how a user profile looks within a CDP. So for every user, the timeline can look very extensive, but this is just a short example. Now, for example, if you click on any user, it will open and it will say, okay, on January 23, this phone number or email address, this user, what they did is they installed the app. Their device at that time was iPhone 16. On January 27th, they did their first order. Order type was prepaid, payment was card, and card type was they are using Amex card, such kind of details. And then first order value was $29, and the device they were using again was iPhone 16, and they ordered from location Dubai. On Jan 28th, they ordered first grocery order, and the device was MacBook, and they were using Safari, but it's the same user. See, on a different device now. And then on January 30th, the subscriber, this particular user subscribed to our Instagram account, and this is their Insta ID. And all this information is being collected. And on March 12th, they unsubscribed from our email newsletter, whatever. And on March 16, they contacted the customer care. The call type was complaint. They complained about order delay. They gave a rating of 1 out of 5. They dined at the same day. They dined at one of our cafes. Location was City Walk. Now, this is just a brief example. Over the years, this CDP collects a lot of data. And to give you a bigger picture, this is how a CDP basically works. The first step again is collect. It can collect data from online sources like websites, mobile apps, e-commerce platforms, email platforms, ad platforms, social media tools, live chatbots, customer portals. So to give you a few examples, like let's say, for example, they chatted on the website chatbot. what was the query type, everything, what were the keywords they used, what was the topic they selected, ad platforms, how many times did this user click on our ad. So it can collect. So for example, on this particular date, the user clicked on one of our ads, they ordered again, all of this information. And then from offline and internal sources as well, you can have this CDP integrated with your offline data as well. For example, CRM systems, for example, POS systems. If you have a business online and offline as well, you can stitch that together as well. On this particular date, they visited this store and they purchased this. Call centers, survey tools, events and kiosk. And then once it collects the data from all these sources, now you might not have all these sources, but this is like an extensive list. How it can enrich is basically identity resolution. So for example, if they are using a user is using multiple devices, it basically connects all of them to one profile. It says, okay, this is the same user using this particular device, that particular device. Data cleaning, it removes duplicates, fixes errors, it enriches the data, adds missing details using third-party API, for example, gender, location, income. You can use different kind of APIs to understand, okay, the user who installed your app, who is ordering from your app, what is their gender, what is their income level, and there are a lot of APIs available you can connect. Then it segments, we discussed, it can segment based on the behavior, life cycle, stage, their intent, etc. Predictive modeling, use AI to forecast churn, lifetime value, purchase intent, etc. Consent management, like manages privacy preferences, real-time sync. And the best thing about CDPs is it's all real-time data, unlike other platforms which take time, which take manual input. And then in the third step, once you have this data, you enrich this data, you can activate it through a lot of channels, like marketing and engagement channels, like email platforms. You can collect the data about users, say, okay, what campaigns did they open, did they unsubscribe from our emails. You can set up automation on different triggers. Let's say, for example, when a user orders this amount, send them an email. All of that can be done. Even personalized emails, you can create different kind of automations, and when a user does this particular thing, when a user is predicted to have this kind of thing, send them an email message. SMS and WhatsApp can be integrated as well. Push notifications on app, on website can be done as well. Personalized engines like content recommendations. You can basically connect your CDP with your website and basically set up different rules. If it's an existing user, show them this banner on our website. If it's a user who does orders regularly, show them this banner, this offer. You can manage the content of your app and website based on the user behavior, personalized basically. And then ad platforms, you can activate or you can create any kind of audience data here and send it to your Google ads, Meta ads, TikTok ads, any platform you can think of. Personalized engines like content recommendations, web personalization, then analytics and BI tools, you can connect it, activate it across Google Analytics, Adobe Analytics. You can collect data from there. Tableau, Power BI, Looker Studio, if you want to have this extensive data and create a dashboard for visualization. Other destinations is you can connect it to Salesforce, for example, CRM tools, customer support tools like data warehouses, and a lot of things can be done. Basically, you can activate this data on these platforms. Now you understand what CDP does. It's very important to understand what was the main problem these CDPs solved. Now, to give you an idea, the first thing is data fragmentation. Now, some of this data was available in CRMs like Salesforce. Whenever the user called, what was their inquiry? What did the agent say? Some of this data about their device ID, cookies, and all was available in DMPs as well. And then some of the data was available in customer engagement platforms. But it all used to sit in silos. You never had a unified look. This is the first time basically CDPs integrated all of this data and stitched it to one profile, and you have all of these different kind of data, event level data, stitched to one profile. That's the first thing they did. The second thing is data validity. Now, for example, if you rely on DMPs, cookies become obsolete after 30 days in most cases. And the benefit with CDPs is basically it's your first party data you collect from all these sources, and it will stay with you forever. Unless there is a particular law that restricts you in a particular country, you can only keep data for 6 months, then you have to ask for permission from the user. Barring that, it's your data. You build on a profile. If you have a user for 10 years, you have all the data about that user, event level data, stitched in your CDPs from last 10 years. The third thing was compliance to laws and solutions to platform monopoly, which means laws like GDPR and a lot of other laws, and iOS doing their monopoly thing that, okay, now you cannot track after 14.5 update. Google saying that Chrome will not support third-party cookies. Basically, it was a big shock for all the advertisers, and that's when CDP started to pick up, because it solves all those problems, because you have all this as first party data. You own this data, so you don't rely on any other platform or third party. And in case you want to understand what are the top CDPs, from my understanding and knowledge, I think Segment, even Salesforce launched their own CDP called Salesforce Marketing Cloud, then Talium is a good one, mParticle is a good one, and there are others as well. And the good thing is, if this is something interesting to you, because this is for sure the future of performance marketing, and this is probably one of the highest paid skills at the moment. And if you want to do, some of these platforms offer free certifications, but if you are a beginner and you think this is a bit technical for you, I will highly recommend to check out our complete programmatic advertising course, where we basically discuss about programmatic advertising tools, which basically will lay a strong foundation for you, and then this will be a bit easier to understand, and you can add it to your skills as a complete programmatic advertising expert. And that's all for this video. Thank you so much, and I will see you in the next one.